right? And as I'm sure you know, the one thing that Jews in North America have, especially the people who pay lip service to Jewish traditions, the one thing we all have a great abundance of is dishes, right? We've got dishes for everything, particularly if you're sort of Jewish but not Orthodox, you've got milchiks, fleischiks, pizza, Chinese, and, unnameable trade, right? Then, of course, it comes Pesach, and you've got milchiks and fleischiks and God knows what else. In the old country, firstly, most people didn't have the kind of money for all these dishes. Even if they had the money, they didn't necessarily have where to put them. What wealthy people, and now, of course, Pesach has gone insane. Now you've got people who have Pesach kitchens. I know people who have Pesach apartments. It's like there are people sleeping on subway grates, and you have an apartment that you open up for 1 week a year, into which, an Abel's bagel has never penetrated. I think if David HaMelech was still living, he would have something to say about this. But nonetheless, you get this, around Pesach and these things, you get this kind of conspicuous consumption. What they had in the old country, people did not have this kind of money. What people who were very religious and wanted to show off that they basically had more money than brains in these cases, would have, instead of having many sets of dishes, what did they have? They had teeth. Right? False teeth were made of ivory. Ivory is what's called nois and tam. It's absorbent, which means it can't be kashered. So, very religious, but very stupid, but very well-off people would have milchike teeth, fleishike teeth, and Pesach. Right? They'd have only one set because everybody over a certain age knows that at one time there's no such thing as milchiks on Pesach, so you didn't have to worry about it. But I mean, this is true. People really did do this. What they did for the dishes, or for those dishes that were susceptible of it, and you can see this if you go to the Orthodox section of any large city. Before Pesach, people line up and they will boil their stuff out, right? You can boil things, metal utensils, to make them kosher. You can kosher them for Pesach this way. And you can go in Borough Park in Williamsburg, Israel, and see people doing this. And people have been doing it the same way for thousands of years. They do it in public. You have huge cauldrons, huge vats that look like what witches have in a Disney movie. And the reason for this is, firstly, there's a lot of people with a lot of stuff. Also, the law is that the vessel that you're immersing isn't allowed to touch the sides or the bottom of the vessel in which you're immersing it. So it's got to be something fairly big. They stand there, everybody lines up, you put your stuff in for the requisite amount of time, you take it out, next person comes, does that. What I was told was, this is exactly the way they did it in this man's village most years. However, if the time to get ready for Pesach happened to come out around the Easter weekend, and it's entirely possible that Easter comes out a little bit before Pesach, right? What they would do, he told me, they would cover the pots. All of these Hasidic ethical monotheists spent their time denying other religions programmatically. And he explained to me that the reason they covered the pots was they believed that on the Easter weekend, and I'll say this first in Yiddish in case you don't believe me, is der Jösel aufgeflogen in Himmel. Jesus used to fly up into the sky and hat gedust, das heißt gekackt in die jiddische Tepp and he would make number 2 into the Jewish pots. So you can deny these other religions all you like. People were not taking any chances.